Hi! Hi friends, strangers, new friends? I don't know. I'm B. I make stuff. This is the Maker B podcast. I'm coming to you from my making things desk and in Northwest North America, Vancouver, BC, the unceded and unsurrendered home of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. I almost said Halifax because I used to come to you from Halifax, Nova Scotia, unceded and unsurrendered Mi'kma'ki. But yeah, it's nice to be here. Nice to be back. I know it's been a minute, but it's always a minute in between podcasts, and I have a lot to share today. A lot is happening. It's spring for me. If you're in the southern hemisphere, I'm sorry if fall different, but I've got the spring energy in me. I have a spring in my step, one might say. Sun is shining out my window. The trees have like a little bit of bud blooming. It's very nice. And yeah, it's my first time doing spring in my new home, my new apartment. And yeah, it's cool to see. We have trees right outside our window, like really big trees. And you know, like we were here just as the leaves dropped and they were bare all winter, but we could see all the birds' nests that were in there. And then now they have flowers on them. Seeing a whole life cycle of a tree makes you feel very at one with the earth or whatever. I don't know. It's nice. It's making me really happy. I've also recently got a job at a yarn store. I'm not going to say which one. You probably already know if I've talked about it though. But I'm having a really good time. I'm really loving this job. And it's made me feel very creatively inspired. The women that I work with are so talented. Like, they always come in to work and I'm like, trying not to like, geek out about it, but I'm like, that's really cool. That's really, really cool. There's two women in particular who, like, just their technical skills are unparalleled. Like, in a way that, like they've been knitting for 20 years kind of thing. And, well, I guess I've been knitting for 15. Maybe even 20. But just like they've been dedicated to the craft for quite a long time. And it's really inspiring. So I'm feeling inspired. I'm feeling happy to be here. And I've been trying to film for a few weeks. And I almost didn't film today because my nails are disgusting. I have to get them taken off. Teehee, don't look too close. That's all I'm saying. I'm not apologizing for it, but I'm aware they look haggard. So yeah, let's hop into it. With acquisitions, which I don't have a lot of, but I'm not going to show you everything because it doesn't really matter what people buy. But I want to highlight two things because of the tariffs from the States. Those two things are my favorite needles, and I bought more of them recently because I needed a replacement. They are collage needles. I'm trying to find the needle actually. There we go. They're a stainless steel needle. It's like an interchangeable setup. And I shot a new couple of these because I lost them because I'm always losing interchangeables. I'm not a perfect person. I like them a lot. It's collage with a K, and I like them a lot. They're easy to move around, and they're square, which is like ergonomicer. I find them in the long term. I have found that the square needle isn't better for me personally. Maybe it's better for you. I don't know. But the reason that I like them is because they work. It's a subset of career services, and then career services exists to help people or like adults with disabilities find employment who would otherwise struggle to find employment. So it's like a cool social initiative, as well as like made in Canada, which I really appreciate. And they're a bit pricier because of that, but I think their price is worth it for me personally. So yeah, I'm loving those needles. Big fan of them. I got a set of them at Knit City, Canada, in Toronto, and I really loved it. And the other thing I wanted to highlight is I'm currently on a non-superwash sock journey, and non-superwash in general, but socks specifically I'm finding really difficult to find, especially no nylon socks. So like sometimes I do nylon if it's like recycled nylon, but trying to move away from the plastics and the chemicals. So my little superwash spiel is that superwash is a chemical process that descalinates the yarn. Yarn has scales, that's why it felts. If you're watching this, I assume you know that yarn felts, or wool felts if it's rubbed together and heated up. So superwash means it can go in a washing machine with hot water and soap and not be felted. But unfortunately what that does is the chemicals that are in superwash are harsh chemicals that is used to make these things like to make the yarn superwash. They use harsh chemicals, and the chemicals aren't great for the people working in those factories. They're not good for the environment. And essentially they turn the wool into less of a wool. So all those good things that wool does, like antibacterial, it does antibacterial. No, wool is antibacterial. It's almost sometimes in some cases like water resistant, like Lopi, for example, like Icelandic wool is quite water resistant. It keeps the bad smells away. It's like the insulation it gives is incredible. So these things are kind of reduced by superwash. And I would say not to take my word for it because I'm a talking head on the internet, but to do your own research and see how you feel about superwash, because I didn't know about it at all. And all of my favorite small businesses in this industry use superwash because dyes pick up really, really good on superwash compared to non-superwash. And I really want to support them and their work. So it's been a kind of like a personal battle of mine. I'm like, I really love these small businesses. I think that, their colors look better on the superwash for sure. They're doing their best. They're not trying to hurt anybody, But so what I'm trying to do is trying to buy from the small business that I like, the non-superwash and the non-plastic versions of the things that I would typically have bought superwash or with nylon in them. Just to kind of like encourage with my dollar, which I know is not, it's not like a perfect science, what I want to see more of in the world. So, all that being said, so I guess to sum up, no hate to anyone who uses superwash. Do your own research and see how you feel about superwash. Don't take my word for it. No one is judging you for using superwash. This is what I'm doing with my money and my time and my personal preferences in craft and why. That's literally it, okay? You do you, and I will not judge you, okay? But yeah, so all that being said, tariffs happened. I was like, bah! Tariffs! Fuck that guy in the States, blah, blah, blah. And so I was like, I'm going to buy Canadian yarn. And immediately Alley Cat Yarns popped up on my Instagram feed and was like, we have this 75% Dorset, 25% mohair sock base that is non-superwash and no plastic. And I was like, that rocks. It's called the Ontario sock base. And I got the colorway Expedition and Bush Party. I love Bush Party, mostly because of the word bush. I think it's funny. Bush parties are in for 2025. Bush Party. And an Expedition, which I'm kind of leaning more into these like moodier colors recently. And like, not moodier, but I'm really enjoying like full color, but not necessarily neon brights anymore. I know I'm wearing brights and I still love brights, but I'm also getting an appreciation for non-brights. So yeah, that is that on that. Picked up these two yarns and those needles. I went to Fibers West last weekend. Fibers West is a yarn festival that happens here. My first time going. It was super fun. I spent way too much money, and you're not going to get a haul because hauls are boring. Or I kind of like watching them, but for some people they are. And this channel is about making things, not about buying stuff or something. I don't know. So, my works in progress. I have 5, I think, to show you. 4 works in progress. The first one is socks. I showed you last time. I lost the bag that they were in for about 4 weeks. They were like at my parents' house, tucked in a corner somewhere. My mom was like, "Is this yours?" And I was like, "Oh my god, my socks that I lost." So I've not finished those Summerly Knit Covert Cuff Club socks, okay? I haven't done those. But what I have done. So my first whip that I want to show you is in my hand spun. It is hand spun from Crux Fibers, who are shutting down. I'm so sad. I love Brittany. I love Brittany's work. But yeah, so this is the Pelica by Rosa Palmer, I believe. I'm going to bring it real close here so you can see my beautiful hand spun yarn. But I think hand spun specifically looks so good in garter. There's something about like you can see my hair, sorry. My hair is on it, whatever. You can see like all the, I don't know. Let the light hit it a bit better. I think the colors are pretty true from what I can see on my screen. But it's just a vest, and I've got the back panel of the vest done, and it's going to be so warm because this is a woolen spun, and so it's going to hold a lot of heat, and I'm hoping to finish it before it's too warm to wear. But I'm having so much fun making it. It's been really, really fun. I'm loving this, this trend, not a trend, but the last 5 patterns or like 4 patterns that I've been making start with the back, triangle, trapezoid, and then do the front construction this way, and then join up, which is, I don't know why I haven't encountered this construction more, but what I'm seeing now is a lot of it, and I'm liking it a lot. I like the way it fits me. My typewriter sweater, which I'm about to show you, is that construction as well. And this is all I have so far, and it's on hold because I was doing it and then I started doing a test knit. So I said I'll put it aside for now. But it looks good. It's so stretchy, so squishy, so warm. The colors are super fun. I'm a huge fan. You'll see more of it next time. Maybe I'll forget about it until fall. We'll see. We'll see. The next whip I have to show you is my Traveler's Cardigan by Zeta. I was working on this when I last seen it. I don't know where I was, but it's the same construction as this guy. Kind of a trapezoid in the back, and then like this. My buddy and I are both making this at the same time. She's a new knitter, and so I'm kind of like waiting for her to catch up, but at this point it's about to be summer and I have no more time to wait. So I'm gonna rip down the bottom of this and then do the sleeves and the neckline, hopefully before summer hits. I'm not sure. The yarn, I'm liking the yarn. It's a, Kristen told me last time, I'm so sorry, Kristen. It's a Norwegian yarn. The Rauma Garn in 5/5. It's, I think, also woolen spun, of sorts at least. It is Norwegian yarn, I believe. Norskol spunnet. Sorry for my pronunciation. I love this color. I feel like I don't wear anything that's yellow. I don't know if you made the end of my video last time, but I have a very sick mother whom we're spending time in the hospital and doing hard things. Please don't comment on it. It's just context, I guess. But bright colors, this happy color has been making me feel much lighter as opposed to darker colors. Whenever I see this, I'm like, I'm so happy. And so spring also, seeing the flowers on my tree, not my tree, but the tree out front, these colors making me feel a lot happier. As opposed to all the other neutrals that I knit with that make me feel sad. That's a joke if you're new. I don't knit with neutrals. But yeah, I'm gonna finish this bad boy off. I like it because the button band is worked at the same time as the rest of the sweater, and whenever people or like newer knitters or my friends who are not knitters see this and they see the extra needle hanging around, it's not a big deal, but they're like, whoa, extra needles, that's crazy. And I'm like, yeah, it is crazy. There's a lot going on. But it's gonna look so cute, and it's a perfect spring sweater if I finish it, or a spring jacket, if you will. I just have to get her done. I'm going on a little trip, or 2 little trips this April, one with my mom and one with Zoe. And so I think if I bring it on the trips, I will get it done and it'll be fine. I believe. Please believe in me. It'll be really helpful. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Mas. What other works in progress do I have? The last work in progress I have to show you is this Shirt of Fire and Ice by James and Watts. It's a test that I'm doing right now, and I'm very happy with it. So far, so good. This is the neck, or the neck. This is the front panel. It's another modular knit. James does quite a few modular knits, or maybe I am just partial to his modular knits. Maybe I was like, a good chunk of his knitting is modular, and I'm like, maybe that's not true. Maybe I just do all the modular ones. But these colors are so fun. I saw it as like a stash busting project, and oh my god. So it's yarn from my aunt's stash, and I went to the store that she bought this yarn at because I need 2 more skeins to have enough yarn. And the price tag on her stash yarn was $13.50, and the skeins were $32.50, and she bought it 10 years ago. Prices are going up. These poor businesses are, yeah, prices are going up. So anyways, yes, this is a, modular knit. So it's knit, cast on, knit across, pick up stitches, knit across, pick up stitches, knit across. It's super interesting. I think it's supposed to be designed for color changing yarn, or I think it's Spin Cycle Dream State is the like required yarn. But I'm rocking it in what I had in stash. I was going to do, I specifically spun some yarn for it that I thought would look really good. This is, I guess, my spinning as of right now. I'm currently working on the second braid of it, but this blend is interesting. It's merino, baby camel, baby alpaca, and mulberry silk by Create Yarn Works. It's just the colorway Autumn. So soft. I don't know what I would use it for other than what I'm actually doing right now. So, I guess, very good, very cool, but obviously would not have looked good or as good as what I've got going on. So I spun all this, and I'm in the middle of that spin. This is 115 meters, if you can believe it. I'm shocked by that. Yeah, super light. But yeah, I think the other thing is I think moving forward, I'm going to have to focus more on short sleeve because most of my knits now I wear at work, and it's warm working in a yarn store. I know it's shocking, all that insulation, but I'm probably going to have to knit short sleeves now. So I was really excited to see this. I was like, I need more short sleeves in my life. Done and dusted. But yeah, the yarn I have is a superwash from Belfast Mini Mills, rest in peace. And this Spud and Clo, which I think is the equivalent of the Blue Sky Fibers organic sweater, like which is a 30% cotton, 70% merino base. And I've been liking that base quite a bit. I love how sturdy it is. I'm interested to see how it wears. And I know that mixing a superwash with a non-superwash cotton blend is maybe not the smartest thing I did ever in the world, but the swatch looked fine. So we're gonna go with that. We're gonna go with God. It's gonna be okay. I believe. Please say a prayer for me. Okay? Thanks so much. But yeah, I'm so stoked on this. I'm so proud of it. And I'm almost on the back panel. It's due mid-April, so I got time. But I want to get it done before, because I want to get that cardigan done. There's so much to do. So much to see. A lot going on. Okay, what else? I think we're on to works in progress now. And by that, I mean finished objects, because we finished works in progress. Let's do finished objects, shall we? The biggest thing I have to show is my typewriter sweater. I finished this bad boy off. I've been wearing it quite a bit. It is so warm though, so I wear it as like an outer layer and nothing else. This is by Jared Flood. Really, really fun. Easy to make. I changed the sleeves. So there is a tapered sleeve option and a balloon sleeve option, and I didn't want either of those. So I left something in the middle. I kind of worked balloon sleeve up until, I would say, about halfway down the sleeve, and then I worked the tapered sleeve option. And I'm much happier with that. I like a wide, I don't like a sleeve that's tight on my wrist. I know some people really hate having loose sleeves. I really hate having tight sleeves. And I like having room to move, and I also feel cozier. So, yeah. But the way that this looks, like the shoulder construction is probably my favorite part. Once again, it's that trapezoid construction. You can see how it changes here. And I really like, there's a garter, 3 garter rows that go across, I'm gonna hold this with my chin, go across the whole back before the actual pattern starts. And I loved that. Maybe if you're gonna make this sweater, I'd recommend doing it in a non-fluffy base. I'm holding a boucle lace, a Surrey lace, and the Noro Sock Silk Solo together. And yeah, I would really recommend doing like a really high twist, bulky weight yarn. If you want to have the pattern visible. I wanted to use up the yarns that I had, so that's what I did. But you could do something different. But yeah, I use Noro. I love Noro yarns now. It's my first time using Noro yarns. I really want to make the Beads of Joy Sarah James and Watts pattern that I made too small for myself, and I had to rip the whole thing out. And I will, because I gained weight in between when I cast it on and when I cast it off. So I will I will have to remake that, and I think as a treat to myself, because I already did it one time fully, and then a second time, and then I frogged it, and so a third time I'm gonna buy the Noro, and I'm gonna make it a Noro, and it's gonna be so cute. It's gonna be so good. So yeah, that's her. More Noro. I get the Noro hype. I get it. And yeah, it's a long sweater. It's really cozy. I love the pattern, and yeah, I think I really like Jared Flood's patterns. I don't know anything about him. I've never seen him on the internet or anything like that. But whenever I see stuff on Ravelry, I'm like, oh, I like that quite a bit. So maybe I'll make more of his stuff in the future. I don't know. And then, oh, I made a hot water bottle cover because everyone and their dog was making them, and I simply had to have one. I needed a hot water bottle cover, so I made one. I didn't make the one that with the sawtooth on it, but I made this guy. It's just more of my hand spun. It's all Corriedale. And this is a Corriedale that I spun during a hurricane. So there's, let's see here. There's like a bunch of curly cues in here, like a ton of mistakes. But it still looks, I think it looks really good. Like, I think it's like, I'm so happy with it. I love the way things look on camera with the light hitting them. I think it's so pretty. And I think I dyed this yarn as well. I'm pretty sure. From what I can remember. Well, I dyed the wool. And the pattern is non-existent. I just made one up. But there's a ton of free base patterns for making a hot water bottle cover on Ravelry. Very functional. Huge fan of that. Third thing I made is I wanted to use up this skein of Daylily from Lichen and Lace. So I made this toque. It's the St. James pattern by, oh my god, what's their name? I got the notes here. Nope, St. James Hat, and I don't have the name here, but I've made this pattern a few times for some of my, some of my male friends, some of my, like, broier friends, I guess. It's like a fisherman toque. I love the way that it fits. It doesn't, yeah, it's interesting. The ladies at the yarn store, some of the customers are like, I could make that. And I'm like, yeah, you could. But I like it because it has like quadrants. So it looks, yeah. But it's, yeah, super short, very tiny hat, you know, like folded brim. Espresso martini, please. Espresso cortado at the day, espresso martini at night kind of vibe. Does that make sense? I don't know. That's how I feel. Daylily, though, is so pretty. It reminds me of lilies that pop out in springtime in Nova Scotia, which makes sense because the dyers from New Brunswick, they're very close together, and I'm sure they also see the daylilies. But they're so pretty. It's also my mom's favorite flower, which makes me happy. The last finished object I have to show you is going to have to be this. It's holding a bunch of things that I bought because it's a bag and I had to go shopping and I bought things. I'm just going to move all this. I'm going to chuck it out of the bag. But this is the scrunchie bag. I think it's called the scrunchie bag by Loopy Studio. I saw this and I was like, that looks like so much fun and like nothing I've ever done before. Looks totally unique. For my, like, unique to me, unique from what I usually do. And would look really good in hand spun. So I made it in hand spun. But it's a bag. It can be crossbody, like this. It can be over the shoulder, like that. And yeah, it's the fiber is Nest fiber. It's a bunch of minis, so all 25 grams in all different fibers. Like, we're talking like milk fiber. We're talking nettle. We're talking other things. Many fibers. And I don't know. When I first finished it, I felt that I kind of flopped. I was like, this is actually so ugly. And I think I felt that way because the lining makes it a bit sturdier and therefore less floppy and less scrunchy-y. But I wanted to put a lining in because I wouldn't use a knitted bag that wasn't lined. It just like is not structured enough. So the lining that I put in, I was so happy when I found these at a yarn swap. But I don't know if you can see if it's a bunch of alligators that I'm gonna hide. But yeah, there's actually a lot of space in here, holds a lot of stuff, and putting in the lining was super easy. And then it's got 2 bows here, and the bows aren't really me either, but I just wanted to try them, give them a shot. So something to note about this pattern is that I extended the arm, the increases, and also the length of the body because I am a bigger person than the designer of the pattern. So the designer of the pattern is much thinner than I am, which is like a super neutral thing to say. It doesn't matter. But what does matter is that I'm really interested in having the bag look the same on me as it looked on them. And so in that case, what I had to do was proportionize. I talked about this in my last podcast, but proportionately I'm bigger, so I'm going to make the bag look bigger as well, or I'm going to make the bag bigger, period, so that proportionally it looks the same on me as it looked on them. And I explained that more in my last episode here. But I think it worked out in the end. I do think I'm going to sew the scrunch in place because it tends to scrunch down. So I'm going to make a few little stitches kind of up here just to hold the scrunch perfectly so it doesn't scrunch too far in one direction. But overall, it's going to be a good spring bag, I think. And just something different, you know? As opposed to making the same thing over and over again. How many pairs of socks do you need? I need a lot, but in theory, yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. It was really fun to make. Yeah. Okay, media. Media is our next section. I'm going to add media because I've been watching a lot of good stuff, listening to a lot of good stuff, reading a lot of good stuff. I feel like it's been a really good time for books. And TV. TV's back. TV was not good for a while. I feel like because of the writer's strike, we had shit TV for a full year. But I think we're back. I think we're getting back in the swing of things. I am so excited. It's a Thursday, so Survivor came out last night and I'm watching it with my friends tonight. I love Survivor. I'm coming out as a Survivor fan. It is my guiltiest pleasure. It is shocking what they get away with in 2025. It's amazing, actually. What they can put on national television or like even international television, and people don't like become very upset because some of the things they do and say are wild. But it is some of the best TV. Oh my god, it's so good. This current season is amazing. There's a woman from Montreal who is unhinged at times, who I love. Her name is Mary. She's amazing. Huge fan of Survivor. It's a Survivor revival. Lesbians love Survivor. I don't know if you know that about lesbians, but we love Survivor. It's a huge... Yeah, I feel like all my friends are watching Survivor again. It was like kind of quiet for a few years, and we're so back. I'm so interested in this season. It's been so good. Last season was amazing. Last season was so good because the right person won. You usually get to the end and like the best person gets voted off, but not last time. Maybe this time. So if you want to get into Survivor, now's the time. Now's the time. My buddy Jason got me a Jason and Ella, both of them got me a Jeff Probst shirt, and I literally lost my mind when they gave it to me. I was like, ah. It made me very happy. So Survivor is in. I'm telling you, it's really good. And you're going to have to suspend some disbelief. When you watch it, you're going to say, are they getting away with this? And you say, yeah. But you watch it for the people, not the show. Okay? Okay. I've also recently watched... Oh my god, I watched a really good movie. What was it? Oh, I watched Sonora. That was not a good movie. That movie was devoid of feminism and made me upset, and I cannot believe it won Best Picture. Shocked me. Don't watch Sonora. Or maybe do, and talk to me about it, because I was shocked by that. My media recommendations is what we're talking about, not things I hated, sorry. Someone suggested to me to watch Dungeons and Drag Queens in my last, or 2 episodes ago. They're like, have you watched Dungeons and Drag Queens? I hadn't. Now I have. Huge fan. It's Monet Exchange, Bob the Drag Queen, Jujubee, and Alaska, who are, in my opinion, some of my favorite, like some of the best professional performers. And it's from Dropout TV, which is Dimension 20. I'm not like super deep into the world of D&D, but I have played and I really had fun and I really want to play more, but hard to find people to play with, I guess. Hard to find a good DM. And yeah, God, it's fun. It's such a fun thing to watch. Jujubee's so funny. Oh my god. Yeah, it was super fun. Thank you for the recommendation, whoever recommended it to me. I really, really appreciate that. It was like right up my alley. Dropout is I I think $7 a month subscription, which is fine. And I'm speedrunning all of their content right now because I'm not gonna, watch it forever. But I'm watching all their D&D. I'm watching A Court of Flowers and Forests, whatever the ACOTAR spin-off, but like not really Bridgerton kind of one is right now. And I'm loving that one as well. Yeah, D&D, more D&D, to be honest. I love the world building. I love the world building. What is the other things that I'm enjoying TV-wise? Oh my god, Wheel of Time. Wheel of Time is out for the 3rd season. If you have not started Wheel of Time, it is time to start Wheel of Time. If you're into fantasy at all, which I consider myself like a light fantasy person until this year. Now I'm really into fantasy just generally. Last season was like harrowing. You know when you like witness a writer kind of like get too deep into something that is like, it's like too dark. You're like, guys, I know, it's like when the Monster of the Week shows get into like fighting God, That's kind of how it felt last season. But this season doesn't feel as bad in that way. Yeah, and so if you want to start, it's like history. They talk about weaving a lot. The tapestry of time, if you will, the Wheel of Time. Spinning the Wheel of Time. And yeah, there's a lot of gay stuff happening. And I think the magic system's really interesting. It's so unique. You should watch it. But I have to watch the most recent episode tomorrow morning, and I'm really excited. Okay, and books. I have been reading like a fiend, not like last year. Last year I read 175 books. Not this year. This year I've only read 20, I think, so far. Maybe 30, I don't know. So the best book that I've read recently has been The Serviceberry by Robin Wall Kimmerer. And maybe not the best book, but my favorite book that I've read so far. This year, maybe? But I love Robin Wall Kimmerer because she makes me feel like I can hold the weight of the world on my shoulders. And I can hold it higher so that other people don't have to hold it, Like, she makes me feel strong and excited to be a part of a community whenever I read her stuff. Because sometimes you get a little bogged down, right? You're like, oh, this world is hard and heavy. And yeah, it's hard and heavy. But I feel like her writing and listening to her speak at different like events, like she did a speech with the Vancouver, not a speech, but like a discussion at the Vancouver libraries, and then also like an Ologies podcast, if you know Ologies by Ali Ward, with Ali Ward. But when she talks, because sometimes, like things are so heavy, like, and you want to turn away from them, and so I don't want to turn away from things, but she makes me feel like I can hold things that are heavier, which I think is an amazing thing to feel and experience right now when everything is so heavy. So I'd really recommend the Serviceberry. I think I actually have it. Yeah, Serviceberry. So I got it from Libby first, but the drawings are so lovely on the inside, so I wanted the physical copy, and I also wanted to give the copy I bought it to give to somebody because they really embody. Sorry, I haven't even talked about what this book is about. This book is about giving and reciprocity and abundance, and like kind of like the gift economy. Yeah, and so as someone who has been the benefactor of immense generosity in my life, I feel like my community is very generous and kind and giving. This book resonated with me because I was like, oh, yeah, all of this stuff makes so much sense to me. But this book I bought to give to someone who is incredibly generous in my apartment building. She does all of the recycling kind of by hand for free. Like, she, like, collects all of our batteries and, like, flattens everything and, like makes trips to the dump. She's just she's so big in my heart. I just think she's amazing. So I wanted to give her this book and be like, you feel like this book to me. Like, this book feels like you. And that also makes me analyze all the different gifts I've been given in my life. And I feel like this is one of them. Like, doing this podcast is one gift that it's so nice to, maybe it's something that I give. Like, I'm not monetized. This is just like entertainment that I put in the world because I really enjoy doing it. So it's kind of like a pleasurable, I don't want to say that I'm not trying to say that like my presence is a gift, but it's an offering. Like, me doing this is like an offering that I'm putting out there because I'm like, this is nice. Maybe you enjoy it. And then you watching it is also a gift, right? Because you're like, this is my time that I could spend I could do a million things right now, and I'm giving you my time right now. So it's kind of like I'm giving a little gift once again in the least like egotistical way possible. In like a I'm offering something to the world, and then people offer to me right back, and it's really nice. And so this book made me think about that specifically, which is a long spiel to say that you should read this book and anything that Robin Mulkiver writes, because it'll make you feel really good and happy and stronger, which is nice. Hilarious of me. I also read This Is How to Lose the Time War, which is an amazing book by Max Gladstone and another author who I will write down in the comments below, by the comments I made in the description. And I loved that book. It's like a sci-fi thing that I don't normally get into, but it's kind of like a series of letters written back and forth by two futuristic beings who are fighting each other in a time war. And it's how it ends. How it ends is wild. It was beautiful. It was so interesting. I understood maybe 90% of it, and there was 10% that I could not wrap my mind around, but I had a great time. I had so much fun. Yeah. And so I'm really into short books right now. Books that kind of like get their point across in about 200 pages, I can get behind. Yeah. And then I'm also in the middle of reading Inciting Joy by Ross Gay. I love Ross Gay's writing. It's someone that I'm always happy to read more from. But yeah, that is my media recommendations for right now. I have had so much fun recording this. Thank you so much for your time, the gift of your time. I'm going to be knitting up a bunch, maybe even sewing coming up. Who's to say? And I'll see you soon.